Hello, hello. It's me, Cynthia, and Marty, and Azalea's off screen.
Hello.
This is our Sunday edition of Magic Hour, and we are filming live, streaming live from Asheville, North Carolina. Hello, my friends. Hello, hello. Well, we just got home from being at the Pearls Fiber Retreat, and this year it was held at Lake Junaluska instead of where we usually go at Montreat, which is kind of like it's like in Black Mountain area. It's really beautiful. Lake Junaluska is also really beautiful. Just a different part of. It's like what would you say? It's like right close to Waynesville. It's only like 35 minutes from here. So it was like getting away, but not a really super long drive, which no one ever wants to do. A long drive from anything. At least I don't feel like it.
Oh, what's our video and audio quality like?
Oh, let's ask before Azalea, come look at what this means at the top next to the live. Hello.
Oh, what are you talking about?
I see our friends. Hello, Melanie. Hello, Diane. Is this where it shows the quality? Can you guys see if it's like?
Yeah, 1080p is the amount of pixels in the screen.
Is it good?
Yeah, that doesn't have anything to do with the internet. We have full.
Diane says, hello from St. Louis. You are coming loud and clear. Clear. Good. Hello, Nilda. Hello, Cynthia. Hello, my friends. Yeah, we're plugged in directly and just checking on the internet. Make sure it's, no one wants to go and find out that you're pixelated. That's not good. So let me show you what we worked on. All right, so prepare yourself. This is weird. So I made the body with pipe cleaners. You guys are probably like, what the heck did you do from Friday till Sunday morning? Well, we did felting. I taught a workshop on felting. It was pretty fun. I showed how to do a landscape, and this is the landscape I did. Well, I'll show the landscape. But this is a project. It's going to be a puppet, right? So it's kind of like a plant it's like mixed with a lion and maybe a little bit of I was doing this to some of the people because maybe they don't know. I can be goofy, so to speak. So I made this and I was like, all right, let's see what Marty says. Marty, what do you think? Marty, pay attention to me. Pay attention to me.
He is. He's looking.
He's not interested. I bet if I put Churu on it, he would be interested.
Yeah,
what if I said it like this?
Oh, not even mind. He just chilling.
He doesn't care.
You should just leave it there.
No, I don't want it to get knocked over. And what was the weird thing is it kept getting knocked off of the table. And so I was constantly in danger of stepping on it. So anyway, it was kind of fun to make. But the pipe cleaners mean that it's extremely posable. So it can be like walking on its hind legs like this.
Oh, don't do that one.
Azalea doesn't like it. She didn't like the creaching action either.
I like it. It's just weird.
Kind of sinuous. So I did some of that and I put this face on it. And it's not done. But for now, it's done for now. And here's some things I made in the past. Diane says, it looks like a creature from the movie If. I haven't seen If. But if it's like that, I probably like it. You know what I do like is the show called Scavenger's Reign. I know I've talked about it before. It's animated, but it's so good. It's sci-fi where there's a generational transport ship bringing colonists to another planet, and it goes off course and goes to kind of a really strange planet, and the humans survive on it. It's pretty cool. I made this a long time ago. This is one that actually got me to be friends with my friend Star now because she saw it and she loved it. So this is needle felted with little embroidered pearl scales. This is called a pearl scale goldfish. They're like this. They look like that, and it's pretty cute. They're extremely cute. I had this fish for many years, and I ordered it from Hawaii. It was from East Coast Rancho. It's pretty cool. I used to be really into fish. I made this one. This is a combination of wet felting and needle felting. Hey guys. Marty, what do you think? Honey. He's too. Look at his face. He's like. He's so over my shenanigans. Honey. He's so over it.
Oh, but no, it's really sweet.
He's maybe a little bit loving. He's the mom. So I made that, and then I made this for my bird Swifty. This is needle felted too. This is called a parrotlet, and I did the feet. The feet aren't that great, but I learned a trick for doing the feet where you put wax on them, and I thought that was pretty cool. And then I've shown this before. This is my rabbit Velveteen. I know it's not a very creative name, but she was very much like a velvet. She was called a Rex. This only has the base coat. It needs to have the full fur coating, the fur, I guess. I don't know what. And it was I haven't had a chance to do it because it's kind of labor intensive because you poke the hair in layers and then shave it to the appropriate length. Marty, what do you think? If that Churu out, he'd be into it. So this is another thing. This is the flat felting 2D. I'm going to show you how to do that today. So that's going to be fun. So what you do is, let's turn the camera around. Okay, Marty, you don't have to sit here, but he likes to sit with me and hang out. He doesn't mind. He's a good lap. I was about to say lap cat, but he's not a lap cat. He will hang out with you and be in the same room, but he's not going to sit in your lap. But also, it's fine because he's heavy. Hello, Deborah. I see some more people. Hello, Cherie. Hello, Bonnie. Says cute parrot. And Milda says that's creative. June says hi, Cynthia and Azalea. Hello, June. Cherie says I had a Rex. It looks like her minus the fur. Well, it doesn't have the fur. That's why it's minus. So that's why it's when the fur happens. It's going to be good times. All right, I'm gonna flip this camera around and we're going to get on to the next portion. Get this going.
He's slapping your necklaces with his tail.
He might be a tiny bit annoyed. So Marty does not love it when we go out of town. As you can probably guess, it's not his favorite. Okay, so this is the one that I did during the live or during our workshop. And it's kind of like, it's a little landscape. We'll put it on this side. So we switched from StreamYard to Restream. Feels pretty good, I think.
We haven't had any video or audio problems yet.
No problems yet. So
and that was a daily occurrence.
That was daily. This is one I made in the past. This is also needle felted. And that was a pretty good one. You can see it's a technique that lends itself more to kind of atmospheric, fuzzy kind of paintings. And by painting, I mean felt, you know what I mean. 2D portrait, picture, landscape. Bonnie says, I'm enticed to get my felt out. You should. It's fun. And Sheree says, love your creation, Cynthia. Thank you. I appreciate that. I made this little pad here. I haven't trimmed the edges. Usually I like to put them in something like, where did I put them? Let's see. Oh, this might fit. This one fits it. This one is, this is not what I was going to do, but this is what I had in mind. I have different shapes of these backgrounds. Let's see if this fits. So we'll just pretend at the bottom because this is a pretty long tray. But you can get these at any hobby store and they come like this. The wood, and they're usually for like, you put, I don't know what else people put in there. But I paint them and sand them. And this is a fun way if you have roving, and if you have some felt sheet, this is a great way to spend, I feel like, a couple of hours if you have some friends coming over and you want to do something that's like low stress and instant gratification. This kind of will meet you halfway with that in low mess. So we could not, at this place that we were staying at the retreat, you couldn't make a big mess. So we didn't do any wet felting. Not that that's super messy, but it's a lot of water. So water usage. So that's one of the things that you can do with it. You can make patches to fix cashmere sweaters. I got a buddy that makes screen printed felt patches, and then covers up any yarn, what am I trying to say? Moth holes. So on this, you can see it's got pretty thick. Look how many layers. So originally this was a pink piece of felt, and you can see that it's probably 1/4 of an inch thick. And you know what you can do? What's fun is you could take a sweater shaver, a pill remover, and you can shave the top and kind of dig down, almost like polymer clay. If you've ever stacked it and made mokume cane, that you could do that with this. I don't have a pill shaver currently. The one that I usually use finally died, so I just need to order another one. So let's get started. It's pretty fun. It's pretty satisfying. Everybody that tried it.
Look how it's hanging down out of the handle.
He's so sweet.
Out underneath the stool, the soft paw.
Sorry, honey. I had to grab his paw. All right, let's get these guys out of the way. It's not going to stay. And I've trapped myself in here with all of my felt. Okay, so this is a block that I bought at Foam and Fabric in Fletcher. It's $3. So if you do a lot of felting, or even if you don't do a lot of felting, I suggest getting a nice dense block. This block has a nice, like, I don't know how to describe it, like a thin, or what would be the best way to describe it? It's dense. It's not super dense like floral felt, or floral foam, but it has enough give. You can see here how much give, and that's good because when you use needles, so these needles come in different blade. Well, it's not a blade. Let's see. I'll show with the packaging. I have a lot of these needles and tools and things. I've bought them where you can get in little containers, like they have them painted. Some folks will paint them. The most common is between 36, 38, and 40, and it's just like with wire. The smaller the number, like 36, is coarse, and then the higher the number is fine. They also have some that have the ability to pull out fibers to make it furred. Now, I bought this a long time ago, and they call it a reverse barb. See here, it's reverse barb. And I had some that were 42 and even 30. This is a terrible way to show this. This is how it was packaged in tape in between cardboard. You can see them popping out. The tape's getting kind of old. But the way, and then you know what? I need to figure out how to look at the rest of them, because after I'm done, I don't put them back. That's the bad thing about that. I just end up throwing them into this thing, and this is all mixed nuts in here. And so I just need to go through. I have bought so many sets of these, and it's I would suggest if you get a fresh set. I just got a fresh set, and what do I do with it? Hey, do you see that plastic container that had all the felting? It's like that new one. I just got it.
Your wood box is right there. Is that what you wanted?
No, I just had it. It's like a little clear container. Anyway, this has the coarse loaded. Bonnie says, "Wow, you have a lot." Bonnie, there's more. Oh, our friend Donna. Hey, Donna. Love seeing my friends pop in there. Oh, Mary says, "I love your felt work. I adore the animals, but the landscape is amazing." Hey, guess what, Mary? It's easy. That's the best part of this whole story, is that it's easy. Okay, so you need needles. If you just have coarse through 36 through 40, that's plenty. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them, any yarn store should have them. Pretty common nowadays. Used to be real uncommon, but nowadays it's easily accessible. Let me put some of these guys right out of they're kind of clogging up my area. I love to go to the felt or to the fiber show, and I get some of this roving, they call it. Let me get that out of the way for a second. So the roving, you want something that has this kind of fluffy, almost cotton candy look. It's like this. This is going to felt good. They call it, I want to say, I can never remember the name. There's so many types of wool and mixes too. So this is a mix of silk, bamboo and merino. And you can see it has a different texture and sheen to it. And this I'm looking around to see if I have a sample of it made up. This makes a really soft, fluffy, you see a little bit of a sheen to it, kind of glowing. It's really beautiful. But it's felted through here because it's been sitting in this thing and it's being stored. But to get around that, I have these, they're called carders for people, they call it a carder, or you could use like a pet brush and do this. See that? And it pulls it at the staple length. The staple length is the length of the hair that it comes out. It's not, it's like the if it's long, it's about, let's see. These are the staple length. So it's about 2 inches or so. And when you're doing wet felting, we did this not that long ago, but you make piles and you want to do it where you can make a weaving sort of pattern with the roving going in 2 different directions, like a lattice work. Pink and yellow remind me of troll hair. That's good. Yeah, I like trolls. Y'all know that about me. So I use this thing not for, I think people use it to, clean locks of wool. I use it to blend colors. And this is a merino. You can see how it has a little bit of a different, it's like more separate. Let's see. Get a little bit of this. It's like, it reminds me of painting. This whole business is very much like painting. So right now we have these 3 colors. I'm going to go back and forth with this. I kind of want to figure out how to make my own. Oh, we're very close. That's why I'm going to go back out a little bit close. I notice we're zoomed in about 130%. Let's back the truck up. Okay, that's a little bit better. These aren't a cheap date. I bought this set probably 10 years ago, and brand new, they were like $75. And actually, they were probably closer to 80. But my friend Star, she's like, how much would it be if we paid cash? No, that was good because we both got it and got a little bit of a discount.
Do the voice acting.
I know. I can't imitate Star without doing her whole complete voice.
Yeah, because her voice is very high pitched.
But Star, if you're watching, I mean it with love. Because I do. She's fun. She's a fun person to be around. All right, so that's what you get when you mix these guys. You get kind of this floofy. It's so fun. If you felt this, if you're a type of person that likes a sort of a tactile experience, this kind of craft has it all. You get the sound, kind of like the ASMR from making these, like this sound here. It's kind of cool. Let's get some of this green in here. Look at this chartreuse. Isn't this pretty? And you know what? Right now I'm looking on my screen and it looks like a weird golden yellow, but with my actual eyes, it's a limey chartreuse. So I'm going to mix a little bit of this, and I'll leave some of this. I usually have I tear it. Now, what you don't want to do that sometimes you can get away with is cutting it when you need the length. What you don't want to do that, because then you get all these fibers going everywhere, and you're going to have them floating around on your space, and you don't want that. So here's another bit of a different type. So it has a little bit of white mixed in. Grab a little piece of that. Let's go with some of this. I just bought this. This one's a new color that I got from SAC this year, or last year, I mean. Sheree says, can we buy dog groomers? Maybe. I don't know. It seems like this should do it. Because this is, if you look closely, it's pretty cool. They sell this, whatever this stuff is called. I don't know what this is called. But I looked it up because I was like, there's got to be a way. And you know what? When I was at an estate sale, I got another set of these for $10. It was like the biggest happiest moment of the estate sale. That was a good day. Sheree says, I think it would be cool to make blossoming cherry trees. Yeah, that would be cool. Oh, hello, Tina. Hello, Tina, my friend. So this is kind of fun to do this. And then that drag back. Kind of fun. So this kind of wool, I want to call it cormorant, or it's something like that. If someone's Googling out there, you can look up what the best wool, and it starts with a C. And my friend Sarah, she's a dyer, she's a local dyer. And it's funny, before we ever met, I was buying her hand dyed. So this one, it's a pretty good color too. It looks kind of horrid on, like I'm looking at the screen, and it looks not so good. But I'm going to add a little of it. See how it's a little bit of fluff? It's a little bit different texture. But this stuff loves to felt. That texture, it's like its favorite thing to do is felt. And the fun thing about this is you could add, you could patch holes. Like if Elizabeth was patching her slippers at the retreat, she made little patches. It worked out. They look cute. That sound is good. Hear that? Azalea in the background. If you guys if it sounds like someone's clipping their nails, it's not. She's clipping.
Oh, sorry. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
She's clipping the edge of, what are you clipping the edge of?
A collar.
She's clipping the edge of a collar. Azalea made friends with another costuming person, and it was cute. It was like I was seeing my friend Jessica Weasel in action. It was like the spirit of her. She was a costumer that was really particular about time periods, very particular. You see how that has that halo? And it was cute to see them test each other's knowledge. I had a flashback to our college days of testing. You know when you're feeling the waters out with a new friend?
Trying to see exactly what level they're on.
Yeah, see the level, but without,
She really approved of my one black and red dress. She was like, you did a fantastic job fitting that. It looks amazing. Even if it is just costume set. And I was like, thank you.
Oh, that's a good moment.
Yeah, it was cool. I've made friends I make friends everywhere I go, honestly.
Yeah, you made friends with Sarah's son. That was nice of you. You're, like I told her, Azalea has a good...
It's not being friends with somebody is not an act of charity.
It's not an act of charity. It means, that's not what I mean. I mean, it's, you have an open spirit because, sometimes people, like I will want to make friends with someone, but sometimes I'm too shy, or like, I'll get this weird idea that, oh no, I don't know. I don't know what it is actually, to be honest. I don't know. Who knows what it is. So this one was my favorite one that I got a while ago. Check this out. This is, from a distance, it looks kind of green, doesn't it? Or greenish. But check it out close. It's like 1 million colors in there. Isn't that pretty? Crazy. I want to make something with this, like clothes. And that's the other thing, is you can use it to make fabrics and things. All right, I think I have a few colors here to work with. Let's see what I have. So we have some of these pinks. See, I had this from yesterday. It's kind of a cloud color. There's some yellow, some of this green. Let's fluff up and make a base. So, and anytime you make a landscape, I don't have an exact idea of what I'm going to do. But with this technique of working in 2D, you can use your background. So this is the cheapest, acrylic felt. And, this background could be part of the design or not. It doesn't have to be. So I can think about this in foreground, background, and middle ground. And that'll give you, when you're working in a landscape mode, you want to think of those three things. And you also want to think about what color family. So right now I have a lot of, this is what I have so far. This is my foreground. So it looks like, what do you think I should do? If you were in this situation and we're talking about colors, I have almost every color. Would you say a blue would be suitable? What would you say by looking at this?
What color?
Sky's the limit here. You could go more purple. You can go more neutral. You could do, there's pretty much any sky combination. Or you could do a house.
Pink and yellow.
Oh, pink and yellow. Actually, this might be better. I had this one for a long time, so this might be better because it's not as tall. Pink and yellow, she says. Look at this soft fuzzy blue. Isn't this pretty? You know, I have a real weakness for hand-dyed roving. I have a great big bag over here. A lot of times you get them in these boxes, or like this was 4 ounces and it was $12. And I think that I want to say that's prices have gone up, but this is the best type. Look at this texture. Isn't that nice? Very good. It's so soft. This is a really fun, if you like to, you know, like it's like a very sensory experience working with this type of craft. Let's see what I see. Diane says turquoise. Sandra says blue purple. Bonnie says doll hair maybe. Yeah, that is true. Could be. Let's see. Heather says Heather was making feathers with thick and cord macrame, and it was thick, but she used a dog brush to comb the cord. They were beautiful. You know, I feel like Azalea, you used didn't you use a dog brush when you were making that, when you were combing out that doll hair?
Yeah, I actually had that pet brush right over here.
Yeah. Okay, let's try it and see. So then that'd be perfect to see if that works with this. And that would save people money if they wanted to do this, because the roving itself is not, none of this is super duper expensive, especially if you're making patches or something small.
It's just kind of pet brush.
So this is the pet brush that Azalea was using to comb out acrylic yarn.
And fake fur.
Oh, thank you. Sheree says, in case anyone wants to know, the dog brushes are called slickers. Yes. So this is a turquoise. It's kind of this is another hand dyed. Look at all that variation. So these are usually like, this is called a bat. And look how big, this is a really beautiful, you know what? I don't know where this one came from, probably Saf, but it's a pretty big one. This one probably costs like, what do you think? $18 maybe. It's a lot of wool, but people use this to spin yarn. That's the biggest use. And then the second use is people like me felting. I'm going to put that, I'm going to grab, so you just tear off a piece. I'm going to put this back in. You know, today the weather was so perfectly beautiful. I was going to go for a bike ride, but we got back from Lake Junaluska after getting sushi in Waynesville. We had a nice time. It was such a nice time. So I'm going to mix some of this just to fluff it up so it's easy to work with. We'll try it on this thing here. Yeah, it seems like, so this works pretty well. Let's try something more challenging. Like this is a little stiff, not stiffer, but let's try this one. So you just pull it through. You could go like a couple times. And this is actually, you know what? I actually like this because, you know what? It's light. And so at each time you make a pass, look how it blends. And if you're talking about troll doll hair, look at that. Couldn't ask for better troll doll hair. And then if you could mount it like this for a little small troll. I bet I could make a felted troll doll right now. What time is it? Oh, it's already 30 minutes. Look at that. It's like perfect troll doll hair.
That is perfect. Let's do it.
Bonnie says it's cold and snowy in Minnesota. I bet. Cold and snowy. Yeah. So that works great. That's good news. All right. Let's see what else. Let's get some of that turquoise over here and blend it with some of this blue. And we will make a real pretty landscape. So another use for felted things is making handbags. You can make a handbag. You can make, why don't you just share it? Can you share it?
Yeah.
We're still figuring out, even though we're streaming, you know, sometimes
it's not,
sometimes it's a challenge.
So there's 2 groups we're in. We're in the Great Beat Extravaganza, and then we're in the Green Girl Studios gang. And since we have this new platform that's allowing us to stream to multiple places, including groups, I added them as destinations and I turned them on for the stream. But when I noticed that we have 26 people watching, I was thinking that can't be from 4 locations. And so when I checked it just now, it said it was unable to connect. And that might be something different.
Well,
but
you
it
know,
let
I don't
me
like that, because if it's not going to do it, then StreamYard is better if they can't do it.
StreamYard wouldn't even let you try to hook up to a group.
Well,
we only ever used 2 locations for StreamYard. We never did more than that.
Well, then that was silly of us to how we were paying that.
Yeah, $80 a month for 2 locations.
That's silly.
and really terrible audio and video quality.
Yeah, I know. Oh, hello. Oh, it's Kathy. She says she's using Wayne's thing. Sheree says, how about making sheets of wool and freeform large stitch with metallic thread? That's another idea. You could do that very easily. All right, so I think we have a good pile right here happening. This is our palette. We'll put them in order. You don't have to put them in order, of course. But that's my compunction to do so. I'm going to take off some. I'm getting kind of crowded up here. All right. Let's see. This is... Boy, I tell you, I've dropped this thing. It has 3 coarse needles in it. I must have dropped this 50 times. And thankfully, it didn't get messed up. All right, to start, let's put this. This is from Clover. I thought I'd use this instead of that block because it has a little bit lower profile. You can get this at Michael's or wherever you want to craft. It's not my favorite thing to work on. I like a foam block better, but you know, it's the length between the camera is pretty good. Gumnut, she says, what is the new streaming app that you are using, please? We are using Restream, and if you like it, I think so far it's been pretty good. We're having issues now of streaming to all of the groups. Oh, Sam, my other son, he says family. Sam. All right, so here's how I start. I look at my background and I think of, number 1, the law of thirds. So am I going to have, the law of thirds means if your picture, you want to go in like, you want a small, medium, and large, or if everything is too much the same size on your painting or whatever you're using, it can look like, it can be less powerful. So here's an example. Where did I put those things somewhere? So is it going to be mostly sky? Is it going to be mostly this part? So it's half and half. That's less exciting. If you have more of your foreground and middle ground, that's like, say, if you want to do flowers and have a little strip of sky, what you don't want is equal amounts of everything, because that can be where it can look like wallpaper. So I'm going to just lay things down. And you know, the best part is that you can always keep adding. You can see that on that other thing that I had, like, who knows how many layers, probably, I don't even know how many layers. I'm just going to set some, and this might change. It might not even, and it's likely to be different, completely different. So you can see I tore that into a thin sheet, and I'm just going to lay down some stuff. Now, see, I said I don't want to do half because that's going to give us, it's like the most boring composition ever. So it's either this, low, medium, or high. Like, well, how about this? I've done a lot of sky, and maybe I'll do some of the flowers. So this is going to, some of this is going to show from, this blue will pop. So maybe I'll do something with spring flowers, because there were a lot of flowers growing where we were, like, the daffodils were popping out all over the place. It was pretty beautiful on the drive. And the best part, one of the best parts, is how you can see the colors from the layer below. So you can get kind of a watercolor effect. You see that's already happening. Now, what color of a sky do we want? We want kind of a soft, like, late in the day. I've already got this pink going, so let's try that. Maybe we'll do a little bit of blue, but we'll have undertones of this. So you can see a little bit of what's happening on the layer below, but obviously it can be completely changed. So I'm just tacking down, or I'm not tacking down yet, I'm laying out my palette of color. So that's what I have so far. Let's pounce it down. So you can use 1 needle. Or if you want to cook with some gas, you can do this 3. And this has a really, listen to the sound.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. That's kind of a satisfying sound. Oh, don't make him cry. Now you want to do this in a well-lit area, preferably working on a table or something, so you're not like this, where your hand is here and you're poking right next to it. You can do that, but put a pillow on your lap if you're going to do this while watching TV. This is a craft that you kind of want to pay a little bit, you want to see what you're doing. Although I say that, and you know what, Azalea? While I was giving birth to you, your dad was keeping everybody that was visiting. We had a whole house full of people while I was birthing upstairs. We tried to do a home birth. And there's always a big baby and was turned the wrong way. And so we had to go to the hospital. But to entertain everybody at the house, I'd set up all these felting stations. So they could enjoy felting while I was lowing like a cow.
Wow. That's just crazy.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't too bad. I didn't make that much noise.
Lowing like a cow.
A little bit. I was channeling that. Wow. Pat says, can you buy the thing that holds several needles? What is it called? This thing? This is a handle. This is from Amazon, but you can get nice ones. And I don't know what I did with mine. I had a real good one that was I don't know what happened to it. It was metal. You can get all different kinds. There are people that will do beautiful wooden, hand-turned. There's like so much. Put some of this, has a little bit of silk in it. It's soft. Now, one thing that I notice, if you have photos that you're looking at, if you use reference, it's a little bit easier. I'm going from memory of skies that I've seen. And so sometimes this line here is kind of hazy and soft. So I don't want to put too much detail. I want to have more flowers and things on this side. The action is going to be down here. So what I'm going to do is put a strip of light. The sun is going down. That's what I'm imagining. It's like late afternoon at the Biltmore house. Where that hill, you ever been to the hill? There's like this spot that's like, it's a really beautiful part. In the background there's hills or mountains, but if you're down here you don't see that. You just see this part where there's wildflowers growing up the side. I want to go to the Biltmore to see the King Tut exhibit. It's supposed to be opening either now or it's going to open soon. So the farther away you get kind of a hazy look, so you don't want to have any kind of, if you have the background like a real sharp line, can kind of be less realistic. See, it's already starting to get, you can see the action happening. Put a little bit of this bright yellow at this point. Maybe a little bit on the horizon, just a touch. Now I'm going to get out my yeah. Pat says, I just have the one needle. Yeah. That's right. Okay, now what do I do with my, so this is my favorite tool lately. This is the Addy Quick. Now, if you get into this, get yourself one of these at the next fiber show. It's like $100, but boy, it's fun. Now watch this. It's going to be the noise is not wonderful, so just bear with me. I'm going to plug that over the light, but it looks good. All right, here goes. It's a little bit loud, so you just make sure this is tightened up, and then you hit on. It's like a tattoo gun. Okay, that was pretty fun. Shri says self-defense. Yeah.
There you go, I guess.
So don't worry about this over edge. One of the most satisfying things in the whole world is to trim this off. It's like the best feeling. I love doing that. Or, yeah, after you have a few layers, though. So I like mine tacked down a little bit more. That I was getting a little bit afraid that it was going to go a little bit, too low into this plastic base. I don't know. I have it works best, I think, with this big foam pad. It's less resistant. This one I could kind of feel the little nubbins of the brush. Now they make little, you could just, you could do, if you're afraid to get your fingers stabbed, you could always do this. You could use another needle. You could use a spoon or something to hold it. Like you could be like this if you didn't want to. See what I mean? You don't have to have your fingers in there. But if you're paying attention, the only way you get yourself poked is when you're trying to do detail work. Like I got poked several times with a single needle when I was working on the face of my creature. Okay, so you can also... Tina says the ocean, the sunset. Yeah, it's kind of oceany colors. This could be wet felted, so you can see on the back that it is poking the felt all the way through. And so you could turn it into, you could make things out of it. It's very pliable. You could wet felt it. Wet felting is fun, or you just frame them, or make a patch. Okay, so let me add a little bit more. I feel like I need a little bit more glow to this area.
Hey, can I use some of your moving gloss?
Sure.
Yeah. It is warm up here. Oh my gosh, look what I found on this tray the other day.
Let me see that.
Yeah. Look the same. Low-key.
Oh, Azalea looking stunned. I can see you're in the studio. Because that's upstairs. It's cute.
Bug eyes, my whole life.
When that Queen's Gambit show came on, I got so many people messaging me and saying, hey, guess what? Did you ever notice that Azalea looks like that gal from Queen's Gambit? And I was like, she's not really that. I was like, I don't know. And they're like, she's got the same sort of, like when she was younger. Now I think that gal has gotten really, really skinny. I think she looks different now. Not that I don't really care if she's skinny or.
She used to have a more round, fuller face.
Yeah, she looked similar in her. Looked like a doll.
Yeah.
All right.
Still beautiful, just different.
Oh, Shri says, have you seen the people that make exact portraits of people's pets felted? Yes, that is pretty cool. It's very cool. I was going to do that with Marty. I should surprise no one that I'm going to do that. There's like a cloud up here.
Not even he is surprised. He's sleeping.
Cloud. No, I don't know if I like that. So if I don't like it, move on. Let's put some of this darker pink at the top. Maybe some of this purple. Kind of like that little bit of some little bit of ultramarine action. Just a little halo. Oh, hello, Cecilia. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, my friends. We appreciate you tuning in. It's nice to hang with our friends. When we were at the retreat, Azalea and I were like, this would be fun with our bead friends. And so we've been scoping out different locations. And the house at this place in Lake Junaluska was good. It had plenty of rooms and bathrooms for everybody. But one thing that we noticed it could have done a little bit more with is having like a room like a really big main room, where you could put a lot of chairs and tables. It was more of like a living room. So people had to work with their, like, it's fine if you're knitting, but when you're doing something like beading, that probably wouldn't be the best. Jewelry making especially, you want a little more space to spread out. So we were making notes of things that worked and things that would be cool to have. We're still on this idea of doing retreats. We kind of had a setback with Helene. We were in conversation with several people with some properties out in Marshall that were really, really gorgeous. But I don't think that they didn't get washed away, but they kind of had damage, just like the place in Montreat got damaged. So some places are still in recovery mode. Oh, that's pretty cute. Oh, Tina says, that's why I enjoy your teachings, because you show us a little bit of everything. So talented. Thank you. Well, I like doing all kinds of craftings. It's like my favorite thing to do. I was going to show more beading, but I was so on fire with this felting that I didn't want to return to the resin world, because I was like, let's go back to resin. And I was like, I don't know if I want to get back in there with that. Not to say that everything is dictated by moods, but there's a little bit of mood in there. I need to get some flower colors now. And it doesn't matter about the edge, like everything going over the edge, because I could, in theory, I could just cut all the way around and get only the middle. One thing that's cool about the felting machine is you can get kind of a quilted look. Some more of that. Where's some more white? I'm losing my skyline a little bit. Lorraine says, where do you get all your beautiful felting yarn? This is roving, and I go to Pearl's yarn shop. That's in here in Asheville. And I go to Friends in Fiberwork. They usually have a good selection. But mostly I like to go to the fiber show that happens every year called the Southeastern. It's called SAF. Southeastern Animal Fiber Fest.
Oh yeah, Southeastern Animal Fiber Fest or something like that.
And that happens around Halloween. So if you're thinking, hey, when's a good time? If you're at all interested in fiber arts, that is a good time to come. Because I think there's also an apple festival that happens around that same time. It just seems like fall in Asheville is like one of the most magical times. I mean, it's even beautiful now. You know what? We had rain, and it was very, very welcome, because I don't know if you've seen, but we had some wildfires happening because it was so dry. There's all this wood that was displaced, and it's kind of, laying in the woods, drying out. And then we had low rain. And so you get a fire risk. And we had some wildfires. The smoke was really bad. You could see it. At Lake Junaluska, you could not see. It was very clear skies, but you could kind of smell it almost. Okay, so here we have, you could leave it at that. So I've left this deliberately really dark. Not really dark, but probably middle value. All right. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go over it again. I'm going to just give it a little going over. This with this, because I want to go faster, but I want to get to the next stage, and it needs to be, for my taste, it needs to be a little more pinned down. And you could make a surface decorations with this. Let me see if this one will work better. So I have this one too. This works a little bit better with all right, I'm going to go turn this on, and you're going to see that I'm going to follow some of this line, almost like embroidery. Kathy says, never seen anything like this. Is felting a thing? Yes. Yes, it is. And it's a good thing. Like Martha says, it's a good thing. It for sure is a good thing. It's a fun thing. All right, what's under there? Tool out of the way. Make some space. So now I can decide, hey, what kind of flowers do I want in front? You could do trees through here. Easy to do. Yes, Polk County. Bonnie says looks good as is. Yeah, you could put this in and call it good. Could shave it afterward. I like it to be a little more finished. So trimming this, I don't want to trim it just yet. I really want to add some little detail flowers. So I'm going to do a little bit more. I'm going to see, this is a good color. Let's make some. Let's start at the middle one and see how it looks. Let's see, how's that work? Because you could do it where it's almost like flocks, like a carpet of flocks. You ever see that? So that's the background. A little bit of some of that happening. So it's like following a hill. Looking good. And then maybe I'll have some bigger ones. It's getting heavier down this direction. Hello, Kimberly. So you can almost hear there's a little bit of a difference. I don't know if you can hear it. But when I was working on the clover brush mat, it doesn't quite have that sound. This is like one of the best sounds ever. It's a real satisfying sound. Pull more. I like the pink of this, with that kind of soft pink. Cover up some of that darker pink. I like it, but I don't want it so saturated. I think I like a softer look. And if you go over top with white, you get kind of a halo, a soft halo. Put a little more of this in this area. Keep the blue side. It's that little tinge of blue will keep it at the top. So it's like the night is creeping in. And I'll keep it where you can see some of this dark purple. You don't want to cover all some of that action. Of course, you could always go over it with a, what is that thing called? The depiller? A depiller or clothes shaver, sweater shaver. That works real well. Or some people use a like what is that thing called? Like a shaver for a person. And I tried that and it gummed it up. So maybe they're using something that's a little bit different. But I kind of made a mess, so I don't want to recommend that. I used the one I used on my husband's hair, and that wasn't great. So, flocks. Yes. So you want to lift up. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Kind of fun. I like using this dense, thick foam. It's so much better than the thin foam that you can get. I can't wait to trim those sides. It's going to be good times. All right, I need a little bit darker pink. Let's see what I have here. Okay, I have these two colors. This one's more, it's a little, let's roll it and make a shape. So, to make a flower, if you wanted to say make some that were like bigger through here, actually could be a little bit smaller. Creeping phlox, yes. Prepping, I thought you were saying prepping the phlox because I prepped it. So I'm getting a little amount here. Let's see if it looks good. Sometimes, you know, that's enough. You don't need the extra. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's, you know, that's the way. See, do I like that? Let's try it. Now, if you don't like something, you can always just pull it off because it's not permanent until, like, if you felt it hard. I'm going to felt that down kind of small. Pull a few more. Oh, Lorraine says, I have to go, but I will watch the replay. Yes.
Good night.
Good night, my friend. You know, even though this thing is pretty good size, I keep not seeing it. I was like, has anybody seen that? And it's like right here. Anybody seen what happened to that? It's kind of fun to switch up the colors. So I'm going to use a little bit of this softer pink for a couple of different smaller flowers. Karen says, make some crows in the sky. You know what that would be good? Is embroidery. Embroidery is perfect with this. So you could go and bead embroidery. I mean, there's a lot of potential with that. Because then you can do in little bitty stitches. This is what I did with this. Sometimes you can get in there to make the details. Like all these bumps on this little guy. He was felted so hard that I could not felt anymore. So it can get to that point. This is felted down really hard and I shaved it. So you can get it pretty smooth. Okay, so I'm going to get some of this. Now I want this kind of reddish orange. This is good because it's very easy to manipulate and turn into small balls. A little bit of this I need some yellow too. Different types of flowers would be good. You know, you can go in and if I were to embroider this, you could do silk flowers and this could be, you can make a whole picture and get very detailed. You don't have to be restricted to the technique of being, felting. You could add, I have this little thing of beads. Look at all these gemstone beads. Check this out. Wouldn't this be good? See if I can open it. Boy, I set something heavy down and boy, it made that hard. Like, look how good that would look on there, you know, the beads. Actually, if I had some pink ones, what am I doing with these? Pearls would be good. So you could bead on top of it. You could make a cuff, you know. Let's see how that would look. Not as it is. As it is, it's not anywhere near where it needs to be. But get some highlights, put in some of this. It looks gold, but it's actually a chartreuse. A little bit smaller. So you can cut if you need to cut. It's not like a law or anything. It just makes it where there's the fibers get everywhere. And you don't want that. You don't want little teeny stray. I mean, you can make your own flocking with it by trimming this ultra fine and putting it in a flocking machine, flocking gun. but you want to wear a desk mask because you don't want the little teeny fibers. As they are now pulled naturally, that you're going to have low like dust from it. But if you chop it, then then that's kind of like you're creating dust. Suzette says the beading is a very good idea. Oh yeah, that's how this started. Was I needed a base to do beading embroidery. There was a piece over here, and so you could actually, in theory, see this could be like, so this has felt on the back. I don't know if you could tell, that's felt. But this is a piece Azalea did for a demo. She learned this at where were you when we learned how to do that?
The Lancaster show.
Oh, the Lancaster show. That was good times.
That's from our neighbor who was named Joanne.
Oh, another Joanne. I tend to make friends with Joannes. Joanne Zakowski. Remember that lady? She's a fun lady. She's out of Marietta. These beautiful glass beads. I don't know if she still makes glass beads. I haven't seen her in a minute. Here we go. And that kind of disappeared. Adding a little bit of this highlight and some more of this. So you can see, you can kind of keep going and making a lot more flowers and getting this to look more plush. Because right now it's not that plush. And it would be this is a good point for embroidery. Azalea's embroidering something now. She's practicing because she got in the mood with all that embroidery talk. But this is a good background for embroidering if you don't want to use just plain cotton or whatever. My friend Jessica, she used to embroider on silk, like kimono silk, and make paintings that way. Paint with embroidery. It's very beautiful. You lift up every once in a while. Hey, and I haven't broken any needles, and I haven't stabbed myself. Usually you end up stabbing yourself if you're not paying attention and you're poking your fingers in like this and then doing it. But this way, 2D, it's not as likely. Partly because it gets stuck down to this board. You don't have to hold it as much. See, this is like kind of stuck on there. Now I'm just tapping everything to make sure it's on there. And this is pretty satisfying. It's a good way to get aggression out if you're feeling it. Let's get the whole thing so you can see. I'm going to lift up a couple times. What do you think? These guys are kind of driving me crazy how they're standing out a little bit. So I'm going to add a couple more because I can't just live with that. This, you know what? This felt really good, even though it's kind of horrendous. This is like I don't know, like it's so garish, but it's also pretty at the same time. To pick little pieces off of it and then mix them. I'll mix them right in my fingers like this, and it's the smallest amount. Try to get that. Where does that go? Let's see. They're getting bigger because they're closer to the viewer. Well, that one kind of disappeared in there, but you see what I'm going for. Let's see. I think it looks pretty good. What do y'all think? Does it look like something you want to try out? Would you try it at a workshop, maybe? Not that I'm asking for any particular reason. Kathy says, if you stare at it, I can see it come together. Yeah, and it's also, this is just, this is something that is like a good craft to, when you're, it was perfect for yesterday. We just sat at the kitchen table or the dining room table, kind of like how we do here at the house, unless we're in the studio. But it's pretty fun, I think. Let's put some little white part or little yellows in the middle of that. Let's see if that adds any kind of extra detail. Let's see how that looks, just to put a little bit. Or you know what, in the middle of that, wouldn't that be pretty to put a bead, a little amber bead right tucked in there?
He's resting. He's peaceful.
Yeah, I forgot he was over there. He's been sitting behind me.
He's sleeping.
I'll give him a treat.
Super cute, relaxing there with his cheek meat hanging through the handle of that stool.
Needs a little bit more. Let's get some of this more saturated yellow. Pat says yes to a workshop. That would be fun. We've been doing more and more research on the Zoom idea classes. It's not as expensive as I thought it would be, so that was good news. Because, you can get nickel and dime pretty easily with all these different streaming platforms. It happens. I was like, and then you can get this, and then it'll say, oh, you can get started with this. It's only like this much amount. And then fine print is like, oh, but that means you only get like 2 minutes of streaming.
Yeah. There's often not even fine print. It's the print they just decide not to include.
Mary says, that is so pretty. Looks like summertime in the mountains of NC. Sandy says, that is beautiful. The whole meadow. Almost. Let's try. Oh, that looks good up there. Let's add a little more of that to the top. A little bit of pink. We have, with the fires we've been having, even though it was horrible, the sunsets have been really beautiful. The silver lining to that is that it's, and then you know what? We had rain, so it worked out. I want to do a night sky one with like silver beads. Let me see how that would look. Be pretty cool. Is what if I have like, you can't even see it. This is a pink opal on there, but I don't know if that pink opal. Let me see what this one looks like. No, you can't even see it really. Let's trim the edges. Let's just go to that point. Let's just do it. And enjoy that moment with me. I'm going to clean up some of these edges a bit. And let's do this last bit. All right. Now, if I had a rotary cutter, this would be even better. But I don't have it right to hand, so I'm going to freehand this. I suggest getting a ruler. Look, I already messed it up. But and if you have the rotary cutter, you can go right down, and it's so super satisfying. I almost want to do it right now. Does you have a cutting board and a rotary cutter handy with a ruler? Just handy. Here, pass me that rotary cutter. I see it from here. You can see it from here. It's going to be so fun. I've already messed this up. It's already like off. It's off we're going off script. She's making roses over here.
I just had a knot in my thing. I had to undo it before I lost it.
So at this point, you can go in and do embroidery, put it in a hoop, or just pin it to that foam board. Give me that mat. I don't want to do this.
That mat is huge. You're not going to fit that.
Okay, one small mat then. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, don't look at this too closely, y'all. It's
for crafting.
It's for crafting.
They're all for crafting.
Everything's for crafting. So this is a rotary cutter. Many of you know how to use a rotary cutter. Ruler. You didn't give me a ruler.
I didn't know I needed to give you a ruler.
Yeah, I need a ruler.
Rotary cut. I don't have a ruler.
Pass me one. You've got to have one. I can see
I
it from
for
here.
real don't have a ruler right now. What do you mean you can see it from here? You mean the one that you are picturing in your mind?
Yeah.
I have not had a ruler in here. I have a yardstick.
Where's all my quilting rulers?
Maybe this one?
I had to go the long way around. Okay, now we're cooking. Why am I not cutting it? There it goes. I wasn't pushing hard enough. Ta-da! Look at the difference. It's like my favorite thing ever is to do that. Line it up. It's not cutting that great because it turns out this cutting board has a bunch of junk on it, like hot glue, so it doesn't want to cut. I didn't cut it square to begin with, so that part kind of doesn't matter. We're doing the eyeball method, which is how I measure everything unless it has to be. Yeah, can you believe that? I just went through like a whole minute of positioning. Dang. I can feel the grit on this. Don't be like me and use your cutting mat for every... Don't use it where you're not supposed to use it. Let's just cut that in. There's something under this. Oh, yeah, there's some hot glue. So don't do that. That's no good. Especially with a rotary cutter because they're so expensive, you know? Kind of mess that little edge up. Anytime there's a little piece of glue, the blade skips. Doesn't want it. All right. Okay, so what do you think about that? That came out pretty good. I mean, this is a little sparse, and I trimmed that prematurely. I'll probably go over it one more time and maybe add a little bit more. But you can imagine how that would look in, let's picture it. Let's pretend this is... All right, well, it's not going to fit exactly. But if you were to do, let's pretend like that's a shadow box. Kind of close enough, right? This side looks so bad. I don't have to go back over. I won't be able to live. I won't be able to rest tonight knowing that edge exists. So we're going to straighten that out. But we'll probably do where I can do it meticulously. So this was 2D landscape felting. How do y'all feel about it? Does that look like... I mean, I did that about an hour. And it looks pretty good, I think. You could easily go in, do more flowers. I kind of want to load this up. I want to load it up. Oh, Kathy says, you've done this before, Cynthia. Beautiful. Yes, there's many things I've done on this where I'll revisit. And usually it's whatever I'm working on, you know, like if, like all weekend long we were doing felting. So I still have felting on the brain. So usually it's whatever I have going on. And then I'll want to keep going. But these can be used, if you felt it down hard, you could spray it with spray starch and shave it, and you can get a real smooth finish. This is pretty smooth. That's what happened with this. And it could be framed. It could be used as a patch. You could put it on, you could sew it down to a felt or to a bag, onto a jacket. There are so many things you can do with it. So many things. Okay, I'm going to flip this camera around.
need help?
No, I've got it. All right, my friends. That was pretty fun. Let's see. Let's see what's happening. All right. Yeah, I wonder. There, that's what I made. There's my pendant. Can you imagine if you did small? You could actually bead that. You could bead around it. Maybe not that big. But pretty good for a shadow box or something. Diane says 1 hour and 15 minutes. You are too good. Thank you. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. A little bit. You could paint on it with Mod Podge. I've seen people do that. You can get kind of a weird look to it. It gets kind of almost like waxy. Waxy is the word that comes to me. Yeah. All right. Yeah. If you're squinting, it kind of has a. There, we can take a quick look at it from all the angles, or you can squint at that now. Diane says, I always stab myself. You know, they make, I don't see that kit. I just had it literally an hour and 15 minutes ago. I spread all this stuff out. Oh, I see it. It's on the corner of my desk, so I wouldn't forget. In it had leather finger protectors that you could slide that on there. But the more you do, I mean, I'll poke myself, but really the poking happens when you're trying to do something like this. And I was poking the face because it was giving me trouble. This little guy was like, did not, kind of reminds, like everything is kind of like Marty. Marty, what do you think? He's not. He's like, what is this? It's like your brethren, my darling. All right. It is very Monet-like. It is. It has that kind of.
I'm chilling. He don't mind.
He doesn't mind. He's kind of used to it, like this little thing. I'm gonna make it into a puppet so that it can have the ability to kind of jump and like get into things. You know, I got a little bit of the puppeteer in me at heart. All right, my friends, that was pretty fun. I hope you enjoyed that little tutorial on felting a landscape on really cheap felt. You could, of course, use expensive felt, but this cheap acrylic felt worked real good. So it's, good use for it. What else you can do with it? It's not like it's what else? There's nothing else I can think of at this moment. But these can be cut up. They can be made into other, one thing we're going to do? We said this could be cut into like a stuffed animal shape, and you could really detail. We were making some folks were doing cloud formations and really getting in there. If you spent more time, you could have a lot more action. Embroidery works good and beading. All right, my friends, that was a lot of fun. Thank you for joining us this evening. If you would like to go onto our website at any point and get a kit or beads, we would love that. I don't want to say the quiet part out loud, but that's how we make money. And so if you're inclined, you can get some gifts for your friends. Make something. Stay creative out there. It's the antidote to all the craziness and negativity. The answer is creativity and making something, bringing light into the world. All right, my friends, we're going to chill and watch some Midsummer Murders, not the weird show from the early 2000s, or not just like a few years ago that came out. Sam, we're not watching that weirdo show. That's the movie.
The British show, not
the British murder mystery. I don't know why we like it so much. It's probably because it was like 1 million seasons.
Is Sam still on?
I don't know if he is or not. Tina says, if I had not seen you make it, I would never imagine it was made with troll hair. Yeah, exactly. Now, you know what? I kind of want to make a troll doll. We'll see what happens. All right, my friends. It was wonderful to hang out with you this evening. I hope you have a wonderful night. Bye-bye, my friends.